Hello, everyone, and welcome again to episode 9 of Friday Night Legends. My name is Ted Stone, and I'm joined today by Michael Ferrone,
Howdy, y'all.
game designer here at Dcuo. How we sounding tonight? Can you hear us? Let us know if you can't in chat. We have a pretty exciting show tonight. Michael is obviously here on Friday Night Legends for the first time. To talk to us about being a game designer and about the Nexus raid, which he built with his bare hands. Sorry about the sound there. How's that? Is that better? Okay. Anyway, so we also have the PS3 Reapers are here today, and we'll be live on the US PS3 server in just a little bit. And but before we get to that, just want to mention a couple of things. One, SWE Live coming up August 1st through 4th. You should come. It will be awesome. Meet the devs, hang out with the devs in person. You'll love it. Come on down. And two, Game of Day 26 launched this week. We hope you're enjoying all of the goodies and especially Scrimmage PvP. If you haven't tried it out, make sure to try it out. It'll definitely add a cool tool to the game for people looking to do some competitive PvP action. But I'm going to toss it over to Michael here and put him on the spot with some questions. So you're a game designer for DCO.
Yep, correct.
Do you like being a game designer?
Yes.
What do you like about being a game designer?
Making games.
Okay. Obviously.
For a living, it's amazing.
For people out there who maybe don't know, what do you do every day? What is a normal day for a game designer?
It kind of varies. It depends on what we're working on. It could be as small as writing VO. Well, it's not really small. It's actually huge.
Voiceover.
But it's it's more just writing at that point. Or it could be actually putting together encounters that will be seen in an instance or in the open world or wherever.
So everything from big picture ideas to where do the mobs spawn?
Right. Yeah, and then how they spawn and how they react and
what they do.
All those things.
Yeah.
So you get to build a world. It's pretty cool.
Building a world does sound pretty cool. So you built the Nexus.
I built it. It was actually conceived by Jens and Jesse and probably Donovan.
Right. Nobody works in a vacuum. We all work together. But
then I helped put it together and construct it. It's kind of like they point out the Lego set they want me to put together, and I try to make it match the box. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But
nice.
It gets there more or less.
Cool. I like that analogy. All right. So for those that don't know, we're gonna get the Reapers on here in just a minute. This webcast is all about you. This is a community-focused webcast about live players playing the live game. And tonight we're going to see some live players playing PvE raids, both the Nexus, which Michael built, and also FOS 2, I think, is the other raid we're going to be looking at. So without further ado, here come the PS3 Reapers. Reapers, can you hear us?
Yes,
we can.
Welcome to the show. Who am I talking to?
This is Palace.
Hey, Palace.
Artevis.
Sam.
And Sam. How you guys doing?
Welcome.
Doing well.
Doing all right.
All right, so we are going to hop in game to you guys, and you guys can start telling us a little your league.
All right. Well, first off, we want to thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to be on here, because I know there's a lot of Reapers that have been playing this game for a long time, and
yeah,
it's definitely something that a lot of people take pride in, actually.
Yeah. So when did you launch? I mean, when did you start your league?
Well, actually, I'll get into the history of our league, because it's actually a little bit more than just a league. It's a whole kind of adult gaming community.
Okay.
Initially, what I wanted to bring up was the clarification that a lot of people know us as the PS3 Reapers. However, we've been growing at such a gigantic rate that we decided to actually get a whole new website and change our name, and try to handle the influx of more people that we were getting, basically driven by DC Universe.
Really?
Yeah. So our new theme or name is holdsquare.com, and it's kind of we're always trying to keep in with the whole PS3 I don't know area, because of the fact that we really only play PS3 games.
Got it.
So basically at this point, I think what I'd like to do is let you guys know a little bit about other the people that are on here. Myself, I've been a Reaper for a little bit over 2 years. I actually found the Reapers by just throwing up a Hail Mary on the forums.
Nice. So
yeah.
the Reapers existed before DCUO. Is that what you're saying?
Well, they did. I mean, if we want to go all the way back to the beginning, and I can go ahead and give you the entire history of it,
Sure.
because I talked to the creator, who unfortunately can't be here tonight because of a family emergency. But Outlaw Curtis. There are a lot of people that know him in the gaming, the PS3 world at least, and especially in DC Universe. Back in March of 2010, he threw up a post on the Borderlands website, actually on Gearbox, and the main problem that he was experiencing was when you guys play online gaming, if you're played with randoms, what kind of bad experiences do you have?
I mean, pugging is enjoyable at times, sort of.
That's true. But for the most part, it can be
be stressful.
Yeah, it can be a very, very unfortunate situation, and a lot of times what had happened was, he got ninja looted, or the people weren't communicating properly, and they couldn't get past a boss or something like that, and it got to the point where he got really kind of fed up with it, and he threw this post up there saying, hey, look, I'm an adult, I'm a working guy, but gaming is my passion, gaming is my release. I'm looking for some other people who want to do the same thing. So originally, he got a few people together, and they started kind of just conversing back and forth on the Borderlands forums. And actually, after that, they moved on to Red Dead Redemption, and that game sort of pulled a whole influx of people from the multiplayer. And basically, what happened was, he decided that okay, well, we have a clan on here, which it wasn't the PS3 Reapers yet. It was actually called the Red Dead Reapers
Okay.
at that point. So they decided that they were going to, stay on that forum and get a bigger group. And what happened was it got so big that they were like, well, what's the next big thing? Well, DC Universe was coming out about this time, and Kurt had started to play it with a few of the Red Dead Reapers. So they decided to shift it away from just one game and make it this whole entire PS3 library-based community.
Nice. So you're big.
Yeah, we are
Nice.
actually. We have a very large forum with a lot of active members, and it's really all about the adult gaming experience. I mean, we don't things that you're tired of are music in the background, or just background noise of a kid screaming for his mom that he needs his meatloaf. People who are disrespectful. I mean, I can swear like a sailor, but I don't really care to hear it that much.
Sure.
And especially no teamwork. I mean, these are things that they waste time, essentially. A lot of the people who are in Reapers have lives. They're adults. They're family people. They're, they have busy schedules. So they want to get on. They want to, vent, release and hang out, and, hang out with like-minded people.
And that's that's why a lot of people join leagues, anyway, is to just kind of get with the people who think like them. And
Right.
sounds cool. So do you actually have an age limit on your league?
We do. Just as a sort of I'm trying to think, sort of a first line of defense.
Okay.
We ask that nobody over 21 sign up on our site. Now, obviously, we don't ask for social security numbers and check your background.
I was wondering, do you have a background check system?
Yeah. So,
No.
so I mean, if there are people that are on our site that are under 21, they're doing a heck of a job of being respectful and all that. So, that's kudos to them. But so, anyways,
Cool. Well, so we're gonna fly around your base a little bit and check it out while you're talking.
that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
But let's go.
So along the biggest, a big thing we wanted to mention was the fact that we aren't just a DC Universe league. We have on this site a ton of different games. We have a huge Borderlands following still for Borderlands 2. We have a pretty big following for Assassin's Creed.
So other games besides
Yeah.
the awesomest of all games.
Yeah, we don't want to take away from DC Universe, but yeah, there's a
No.
whole bunch of
Yeah, but that's cool. People
But
can,
we are Sony exclusive for the most part when it comes to the PS3 for the most part.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, and then along with it too, we have a lot of organization. We have DC Universe team leaders that are, sort of the front line for new people that we bring into the league. They have invite privileges, they have message of the day privileges, they change, all that kind of stuff, and they really kind of run, keep the league running very well. We have in the past, tried to organize things, and people don't show up, so the team leaders are kind of responsible for getting those raids, started. We have a calendar. That is part of our site that we actually have an entire schedule, a raid schedule for the week.
Nice.
And we will have people, come there and they can actually click on the day, click on the event. They can look at it and say, okay, I want to sign up as tank, DPS, troll, or healer, and then they can, put their name in of the tune that they're going to run it with.
So how many players do you think you have in your league? Yeah.
Active, I'd say about. Generally, at all times, you probably have at least 10 to 15 people on.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
When it comes to people who are active total, I'd say about 60 to 50.
Yeah, I was going to say 75.
Yeah, so that's a lot of organization and a lot of work to keep a big organization like that running.
Yeah.
It's cool.
We have the ability to have them, like people sign up, and then there are other people who sign up as backups too. They're on, they're going to be on, and if somebody DCs or has to leave, adults, we get wife aggro, we get, baby aggro. I mean, things like that.
Yeah, it happens.
You have to leave abruptly, and you don't want, a league that's super serious. Yeah, you don't want people being angry at you because, you had to go do real life stuff, and that's what this is all about. But let me get on to who else we have here today.
Sure.
Also, one of the things we wanted to do is we wanted to thank one of our Reapers personally. There's a guy, and he's actually really active on the DC Universe forums. His name is Owl.
Mm-hmm.
The guy, I don't know if you could run stats on him, but he has something like 25 characters.
Actually, it's 48. I think the last time I checked,
Wow.
and actually
That is a lot of characters.
48
He
different
plays
characters.
on both PS3 and
He's
PC.
got multiple accounts.
He definitely has put his time in. He puts a lot of time into the wiki.
He's a crazy person, but we love him.
Yeah.
We love him.
Yeah, and
he's obviously
I mean,
insane.
if you are a newbie at level 30, he will give you gear out of Kondak that he's been farming, forever. It's nice, but with that being said, I want to introduce these two people that are with me. First off, we have Artevis. You've been a Reaper for what, just about as long as I have, right?
Yeah, about a little over a year and a half, actually.
Okay.
Me joining was kind of, I started playing the game actually when it went to free to play originally.
Okay.
I saw it and I was like, you know what, I'd jump on and try it out, see what it's like. I hadn't really played an MMO since, because I used to play Eve. And so I jumped on this and I, decided to play around and, fell in love with the game after about a month or so because I'm a customization junkie. And I love just, being
You're a
able
skill
to sit
point
down.
hog too.
Yes, I am a skill point junkie.
How many?
How many are you at?
150 right now.
Nice.
I need more. That was the thing. I used to get made fun of a lot because I had way more skill points than I ever was going to technically need. And then you guys added the other trees, and I'm not fully spec'd anymore. And now I don't look crazy. I look prepared. Which, OCD for the win.
Yeah. So Artemis is he's a team leader. He helps with organizing and that kind of stuff. And then we also have he does a lot of the PvPing, and he's done classes before. Trying to teach people the PvP kind of stuff. And then the other person that we have with us is Sam. She is a lieutenant, which is kind of like lower tier than a vice president where I'm at, but higher than a team leader. And she really handles the social networking aspect of our group. We have a Facebook page. It's holdscoregaming.com. Sam, you want to say hi?
Hi.
Sam is shy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. You got any new memes for us to put on the website or on the Facebook page?
Well, you have to go there and like it, obviously, to know.
Oh, that's true.
That makes sense.
That's the thing about Sam. You don't get anything out of her unless you like the Facebook page.
Right.
Did you like it, Maps? It's totally awesome.
I haven't. What is the what is the name exactly again?
Facebook.com/holdsquaregaming.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll like it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, I mean, just I guess to kind of come full circle here. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it's an adult gaming community. You know, for people who want to be respectful. You know, get their stuff done, but you know, not super serious or anything like that. And I mean, you know, it's just a good time. I mean, we have a lot of good times. We have a lot of fun. You know, no one's bigger than the Reaper, you know, or the Reaper code that we have, which is kind of the outline. You know, we've removed people from the league and from the community because they, you know, just broke the Reaper code.
Sure.
There are people that you know, they sign up on the website and they introduce themselves and then they shoot their mouth off thinking they're funny. And I mean, we don't take that. I mean, you know, we want to, you know, like I've said, a mature gaming experience and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun. Do you guys want to finally go and see the Reapers? Because we're outside.
Let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and zone out. And
By the way, I wanted to plainly state that I have the nicest base in Dcuo, and
oh, really?
anybody who would like to challenge the title is welcome to. But I haven't seen anybody yet. People have run their mouth off before, but I've spent way too much time in here because the majority of the time, like when I'm waiting for raids to get together, or I'm waiting on other people to do stuff, or you know, I'm just hanging out here and tinkering.
Yeah,
it's become my Zen garden. It's 200 pieces actually at this point. It's full.
That's awesome. I love what you've done with the place. It's nice.
Okay. Are you on Artemis at the moment?
We are just outside his base, looking at everybody
All right.
lined up.
They're doing a whole West Side Story thing out there.
Oh, so I see. So you have a villain league as well as a hero
Oh,
league.
yeah.
That's something we started branching out with a couple, you know, a little bit ago. We realized we weren't really catering to the villain side, and we realized that it would be better for both sides, you know, if we, you know, kind of worked together
both.
and kind of leveled each other up, and you know, traded stuff back and forth to kind of get our people up.
It's interesting too.
Kind of build up a villain side so we can play both. And you know, you can grow a whole lot faster because our hero side is so big. You know, that 60 or I said earlier is just, you know, really the heroes. You know, the villains have their own side and their own play style, and we help each other out back and forth because we use the same forums. So
That's cool.
it's a symbiotic relationship.
I kind of really want to see you guys beat the crap out of each other.
One thing that also is kind of interesting.
They've been
is that,
begging for the past 30 minutes, have an all-out brawl.
Yeah.
So if they, you know what, I'll tell them flat out. If you guys want to fight.
Something that I wanted to throw out there too is that we actually created a crossover channel where we have, you know, we've invited both heroes and villains to it. So if the villain raid doesn't have enough people, you know, there are heroes that have villains that are at the right CR, and they can say, "Oh yeah, hold on for 1 second, I'll jump off and I'll come over there. I got time to run this with you guys." I mean, the villains was for a long time. It was started by one Reaper named Kajity, or actually, it's his
There they go.
name.
Now they're fighting.
Nice. Oh,
Heroes and villains no longer working together.
yeah.
Well, there's a
Nice
rivalry.
job, Artemis. Nice job.
There is a rivalry. They're always waiting to rip at each other anyway. Blame that on me. You're forgetting that I love the chaos.
So at any rate, do we want to go ahead and get Nexus started?
Yeah, so
Started?
so obviously people in the channel are getting itchy. They want to see some action, although this is pretty good action right now. But yeah, so the plan tonight is to play 2 raids, right? The Nexus and FOS 2, I think, is what we settled on.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to queue up for that,
Go ahead and start
if
getting
you're
those,
not
started.
in this melee.
And something else, you know, we were talking about before is that we're not like we were saying like an elite league. You know, we don't have any CR requirements or anything like that. I mean, as long as you want to have fun and are respectful, we'll bring you on and we'll take you through raids. We don't really like to boost people, that are leveling up, especially because we want them to learn the game.
Well, that's more
But
about how we train.
yeah,
One
I
of the
mean,
major things that I love to talk about with this league is one of the main reasons I've stayed here and taught classes myself, because we actually will arrange for classes for people to actually learn their powers and their move sets and
Right.
different combinations and how to do things. I love that about this league, because our main strength is that if you don't know how to play this game and you don't know what you're doing, we will help you get there. We will explain things. There's always people in chat that if you ask a question, we'll be there. We'll never be like, oh well, you don't know about this, well you're a noob, and that's exactly the opposite of what we're
Yeah, and
we really are.
that's really great. It's the quality of person, not the quality of character or progress of character. That's
Right.
really cool.
Yeah.
So Artemis, are you going to pull the groups, or at least your group, in to your base just to? Or you just
Yeah,
have to
let
queue
me
out here?
let me do that. Hold on 1 second.
I think both of you can queue up, and we can just follow you in
Okay.
whenever
All right,
whenever
that
you
works.
get inside.
Uh,
Let us know.
So we're also working on some other things like we have fundraisers every once in a while, actually. Nobody's required to give us money or anything like that, but in order to keep the website up and stuff like that, we take donations. Most of the new stuff came out of very generous donations from certain Reapers,
That's
and
cool.
and out of Kurt's Outlaw Curtis's pocket as well. So he's been a vital role, or a vital person in this entire thing. I mean, without him, the Reapers probably wouldn't exist, and it's really a tribute to him to how big we've grown.
Yeah, there's always someone standing up the league and supporting it.
Right. Well, and there's people that have left because they didn't like the way that he was running it, and they've tried and ran their own thing. And I've heard that some have been successful, but many of them have failed because it's a daunting task to try to run something of this size.
Yeah. And and that's the thing. There's like people always, you hear people shouting, for leagues, oh, we're a no drama league, and that's impossible, because when you gather a group of people, no matter how many people you gather together, you're going to have some bumping heads. You're going to have some bickering. You're going to have that tension, and it's a true test of what you're able to accomplish by like getting those people to actually work together. And sometimes one will have one will leave because they don't get along with somebody, and vice versa. But you have to be able to kind of walk past it and be like, well, good luck to you, but always be able to kind of cater to people to some degree. You don't want to bend over backwards, but you don't want to you don't want to babysit. And that was one of the main reasons. Over 21, we don't really want to have to deal with stuff like, if you have to leave to deal with a family crisis, go and leave. We're not going to be like, oh well, you left the raid in order to go see your child being born, so you can't run with us anymore. That's
Sure.
that's ridiculous.
Makes sense. So, all right, we're following Artemis in.
Yeah. You had some freezes, so I'm waiting for them to get back on.
Okay.
In the meantime, Sam, do you have your group ready? Do you want to go ahead and start off FOS 2?
Okay, sure.
Okay, and then that way, we figure you guys can stay with Nexus and talk about that with the designer, obviously.
Which is why we did too.
And then if we get kind of bored, we can hop over to the villains and
Right.
let them do some FOS 2. You gonna go for the speed feat, Sam?
Maybe.
I think you have to now.
What? What are you,
she's a player,
CR53?
right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
All right, let me know whoever gets into the instance, and we'll follow them in.
Right. Oh well, I have you here. I have some questions actually. Make this interesting.
Sure.
I'm sure if I can get a scoop or not. When it you just recently added the extra nodes to the bases. Were you planning in the future to raise the cap for how many amenities we actually could allow in our base? Just to let you know, I've talked to a lot of people, and they will pay for that. Just to let you know.
Well, what those two things are not related. Adding the extra nodes is more to allow us to have more flexibility with switching your base and base backup.
Okay.
But that said, there are this base system that you see is the beginning of the base system, not the end of the base system. So there's
Okay.
more on the way. I can't really be more specific than that, but there might be bases in the future with more options once we get there. How is that for a
Okay.
non-answer?
Yeah, I figured that was also for the most part. Can you talk any at all about how that's kind of going to integrate into the league bases? Because I know that that's coming up. I think it was the next update or the next DLC after that.
Well, we
And I know
didn't
everybody's kind of chomping at the bit for that.
we
for
didn't
little-
technically set the order of the next DLCs.
Okay. Yeah.
So stay tuned for news about that.
Okay.
But no, I can't really talk about how league halls might or might not work yet. We're too far out.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. We are queuing up now. Sorry about the wait.
Okay, Artemis.
Yeah.
Speaking of improving stuff, I noticed that there are no simple red pumps available as a shoe repertoire for girls. So are you guys like working on that?
Sam, the shoe junkie.
Well, shoes are very important to us here at DCO. We're always adding styles. I will make sure to pass that suggestion on directly.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Speaking of which, I have a question. All right.
Yeah.
I spend a lot of time just customizing my base and my tuner and whatnot. The one thing I've always had a problem with is we don't have regular tennis shoes. Like we have that high knee sock, and that's okay if you want to go the whole 70s, Afro pick kind of basketball player route. But I would like just regular tennis shoes, just like sneakers or whatnot, because I'm not really into the whole big bulky armor thing.
Sure.
I know a lot of people aren't. And for the casual style, we get boots and the girls get tennis shoes, and I don't feel that's fair. And Sam has been throwing it in my face, and I'm not okay with that.
Noted. So shoes are very important to really your entire league.
Yes. We're a
Actually,
big shoe.
it's just those two.
Oh, I see.
Thanks.
Well, noted.
They make
Right,
it a
right.
they make it a huge deal.
Well,
Thanks
you
for
have
that.
to fight raids in style, you know?
That's true.
Yeah,
That
you
is very
gotta
true.
be comfortable. I'd rather save the world in tennis shoes than.
Then can you make a pair of orthopedic shoes for Artemis?
We're gonna need to.
Oh, that would
yeah.
be awesome. I would love orthopedic shoes. I would. You can call them the Artemis style. I'd be
In
perfectly
fact,
okay.
if we could get a crutch as a weapon too, that would be great.
Wow.
That's just a weapon. Really, that I think you would have to make that a two-handed actually.
Well,
to be
as
honest.
a game designer, what do you think about these suggestions for crutches as weapons?
A crutch is a weapon. Potentially.
Essentially, it's the wheels are turning already. Okay.
It's sparking some ideas on maybe how you would earn them.
Nice.
You go down enough times and they show up in your mail.
Yeah.
Just the game's like, yeah, you need to stop.
All right. Are you guys queued yet? I mean, are you in yet?
Yeah. Yep. We're in the raid right now.
All right.
We're
We're
moving
following
forward.
you in.
One of the things I wanted to talk about a whole lot is when we run raids, we generally have a bunch of people who know what they're doing, and a couple of people that it's kind of their first time or their second time or whatnot,
Okay.
or they really haven't really run it with the league yet. So what we do is we teach as we go through, and I know you guys are excited about that, about how we kind of run through things and kind of run through things properly and make sure everybody knows what we're doing. So we're inside right now, and I'm going to have everybody move forward. Hopefully they're still listening to me.
We are right with you, right
Oh
behind
my
you.
gosh, the video
Okay.
is no longer choppy either.
Yeah. Jaga wanted to show off his floating chicken head look, which I think is impressive.
His floating chicken head look.
Floating chicken head.
Oh, the guy in the white in there?
Yes.
Yes, that is a floating chicken head. Oh, there he is. That is impressive. That's nice.
All right. I'm gonna have everybody move forward. Our chat is kind of wonky right now. Because our instance chat vanished. All right, we're going. But basically, what we do when we go in this room is we basically sit down and we have a conversation. One of the big things about our league is everybody has to have a mic. It makes it so much easier to organize things
Yeah,
and get
especially on
things
PS3. It's
running.
yeah,
Just because when you have one person who doesn't have a mic, 9 times out of the 10, they're either not listening or they have chat off, or it's they especially for these raids and their level of difficulty, you've got to have everybody talking, or else it's a nightmare. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start this up. What we generally do is we decide who we're going to go after.
I've gathered us here for a purpose. The
Beforehand.
Council simultaneously exists in separate
In
realities.
this raid, just so we can
together,
be all on one
we can
page, because
stop
you
the
have to.
Council of
Because
Luther.
if you try and
They're
burn them all
searching for
down,
something
you'll
from the
wipe
past.
before you actually
An
get things done.
artifact that is linked to the origin of someone
very
crucial
true.
to our cause.
For
If that
the
artifact
particular
is
bosses,
erased,
each of them kind of
that
have their
hero
own
will share that
way
fate.
of dealing with them and
It's a
watching out
compelling
with their own
plan,
stuff. But for this
but it
first part,
cannot
the only thing that
succeed.
really everybody
I'm
has
going
to
to
worry
shift
about
you
is because
out
we're
of
running.
phase
Oh, by the
with
way, we're
this
going to be running with
reality
2 tanks
and
for this
into
boss fight,
phase with
just for
Luther's.
ease and kind of make it a
You
little
might
bit more
feel a
smooth.
slight
And then we're going to
tingling
switch out of
sensation.
DPS.
I knew Batman would send
For this thing to
someone.
kind of burn faster
I
on the
just
side
thought he'd
bosses.
pick someone that had
With
a
these
chance
bosses right
of
here,
stopping. It doesn't
with the
matter.
tanks pulling them
It's
together,
about time
you
for
really
you to
don't have to
go.
worry about a whole lot
Attention.
beating the
Target
ever-loving hell out of
signature
you.
located.
The one thing you do
Prepare
have to
for
worry
time
about is general
That's
popping
my
up
cue.
behind you
But
and,
don't
you
worry.
know,
These gentlemen will keep
stabbing you in the back.
entertained.
So for the
Slap.
most part, one tank is going to be pulling the set of Luthers that we don't want to fight away, and one's going to be pulling the ones that we do want to fight to the other side. And we basically burn that group. And then just watching out for general and being aware. I think a lot of people are having problems with this raid in general, because it's kind of like when Prime came out. Prime was a new standard in how you kind of wanted to play the content. When it came out, it was more about your own. You used to be able to, like, if you were a healer or you were a troller, you could kind of just sit back and just kind of spam your powers, and you need to kind of not worry about anything kind of destroying you. But Prime, because of the pancakes, which I'm pretty sure everybody knows that's kind of what everybody calls them, and the honeycomb, which it's what it's nicknamed now. You have to watch for your feet. You've got to watch behind you. You've got to zoom out your camera. You've got to be self-aware.
Sure.
And these raids themselves kind of take it to the next level. I personally like leaving general to actually face in the end.
So is that going to be your strategy tonight?
It depends on what the consensus is. I believe I'm kind of following their lead, because I'm trying to jump back and forth between this and them, and I've kind of left it up to them to organize stuff, because we've got a big group of people here who actually,
Artemis, if you need to talk to them for a little bit, I can fill in.
Oh yeah,
in the
yeah,
meantime.
Ronan, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
A few other things about our league that are kind of cool. We really help each other. I mean, that's one of the parts of the code, of the Reaper code, is that you need to be helpful. You need to be willing to put yourself aside or your gain aside to help somebody else. And you don't have to do it all the time, but I mean, and no one's keeping track. It's just something that we like to promote. And for example, my last, I think, 3 level 4 mods, I got all at the same time by Reapers just donating bits and bits and bits to me.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was something where I forget the reason why we were doing this. I mean, I was geared enough to do the operations, but I know I hadn't been on in a while, so they kind of brought me up to speed, all that kind of stuff. Something else that's kind of neat that we've done in the past is we've actually with the plans that came out, we made a rule that we were going to have 2 people. I mean, in this case, I think it was Kurt and originally another Reaper named Doc Papa Mo, and they were basically the holders of the plans. So what happened was when we went into a raid, if any plans dropped, one person would be designated as the holder of those, and then when we get back, we would actually give them to these designated mod makers, if you will.
Nice.
And
The benefits of having a league. Right
yeah,
there.
exactly. And I mean, we're sitting there, and no one has to go shout, in the watchtower and possibly get ninja'd out of all their bits, something like that. It's just, it's a great little perk to have. And then, obviously, once, the plan drops 2 or 3 times, we let other people have it, and then that way, there's more people making mods. So it's kind of a necessary evil too, because then you're sitting there and you're like, oh brother, now I'm the one who has to go and make mods for everybody else because Doc's not on or something like that.
What's funny about that is when the new content was coming out, we actually were preparing for that, and we were preparing for basically us to have to fight for the mods and whatnot, and have everything, because we were used to like them dropping every once in a while in content, and that's kind of what we were going to do. But things were dropping in the alerts so much that after I think it was a week, we had 3 people that had all of all the plans.
Nice.
So it became a mute point after that.
Yeah.
Since all of us were farming so much, we were good to go. We do not have a whole lot of experts, but we're starting to get there.
That's cool.
We're just kind of getting our feet wet into the raids themselves.
So speaking of getting the raids themselves, it looks like the fight has begun, and it looks like you guys have pulled off Space Commander, or Professor in general to one side, and Space Commander and Future Lex the other.
Yeah. The Professor is annoying for the major reason that when you fight him at the end, that canister being thrown out when you have the ring shields out, that canister being thrown at your group when you're trying to protect yourselves is generally an instant wipe. So we want to avoid that. So we kind of want to deal with them here and now, and kind of.
I see. So.
And we have people who aren't quite used to this, so some people are kind of getting used to actually fighting in here. But we've got 2 tanks in here who are beast. Scion's actually new to the league, but he's already started teaching. He's been running through content constantly with people, getting people geared up. And Ray's an old vet. He's got a mouth on him, but he's got more ego than most. But I'll be perfectly honest, there's nobody I'd really rather go into hard content with than Ray Ryans.
That's cool.
Right now, helping me out with DPSing is Jaga Shock. He's usually been my wingman. And on trolling, we have Black Onyx. Black Onyx is also a team leader. Soft-spoken, never says anything, is super Asian. And that he'll just sit back and say nothing, and then he'll say the dirtiest joke ever just to throw everybody off. He's been with the league as long as I have, I believe. House, isn't it? How long?
Yeah, I mean, he's been around as long as I've been in the league. I mean, he and I were controlling, I think, on the first day, or maybe within the first week, and it was a rotation at that point between me and Dcuo and Onyx.
So, question: we see you guys fighting in opposite halves of the room. Michael, when you built this room, is this what you envisioned? Does it go that far into I expect people to do this?
Yeah, that was pretty much the expectation, that 2 to 3 of them will be pulled to one side while one's burned down.
Okay.
Depending on the survivability of the tank, trying to tank 2 to 3 of them.
Got it.
So 2 makes more sense at this point.
So that leads me to ask a question. Was the raid designed originally to be dual tanked or have 3 DPSs? Because there's been, since all the tanks have loved all the attention because tanks are back. It used to be that, nobody really needed a tank or stuff because everybody was running like dual DPSs or 3 DPSs for raid content. And what every tank I've heard is loved is that they're needed again, and needed in a big way. But
that was one of the intentions, yeah.
Okay, so was the time limit, is that kind of like an afterwards thing, where it's just kind of like adding it just to add the intensity of it?
That was, to get the intensity on those 2 fights on a little bit. There were a number of reasons for it, but they were the fights just felt a little, they lacked some urgency. They needed some pressure, so we wanted to give it a little more excitement, basically, is what it comes down to, because they were kind of long and boring otherwise. Well, that's not really true. Not boring.
I don't think they're boring.
Wait, walk it back. Walk it back.
But relatively speaking, I just they lack some excitement.
People were able to fail in ways we didn't want them able to fail, and that still succeed. right?
Oh yeah, sure.
So now with the timer, if you fail, you end up actually failing. So that succeeding is a high pressure type thing.
I suppose.
Is the dual tanking, is that something that's going to be prevalent throughout, newer content than this stuff? I mean, I don't know how much you can divulge, but is that like I guess is that a goal that you guys have, is to create more of these raids that are dual tanks?
Well, we definitely, when we're doing raids, we want all of the roles to have their place, and that includes tanks. We haven't really planned any any future raids in any real detail at this point, so can't really speak to anything going forward. But that is definitely something that we keep in mind. Different fights will have different feels. I mean, some fights will be more tank heavy, and other fights might be more of a DPS race. It kind of depends on where things are going.
Well, one thing that I remember from, I think it was Inner, very early on, was when you'd still run with 2 tanks in there, which I'm talking very early. I mean, I'm talking back when I was on like No Man's Land, PS3. Shout out. We
I was waiting for that one.
Yeah. The first boss, I can't remember his name, but the one who destroys the Batmobile. A lot of times, originally we would go in there with 2 tanks, and it was
Your intrusion may
a
have
main
slowed them
tank
down, but they
and
won't give up. Get
an
those
off
security
tank.
doors
Maybe
down
someone who wasn't
and
as
get
geared
to
as
the
well.
center of the
They'd pull
nexus.
the ads.
That's where he'll take the artifact
while
once he's secured it.
the main tank tried to get the attention of the main boss. I mean, strategy like that, I think that adds a lot of depth to it and a lot more interest. I mean, those first couple raids, that tested my marriage.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's you got her breathing down your neck. And rightly so. I mean, when this game first came out, I just, yeah. I mean,
a lot of control.
Yeah, it was, and I had to learn to pull the reins back a bit, but yeah, it would be nice to see more stuff with strategy, like you're saying. Like you were saying, it's not boring. I mean, the raids that you guys have right now are not boring. They're
That's
just,
good.
we've done them so many times that we know how to do them. I mean, go into gates or either the operations, and we expect to obviously finish them.
Right.
And,
All right, so you guys headed into the next room?
Yeah, we're going to go right and go into the next room, and while we're actually moving through this hallway, I know one of your developers, who shall name nameless, has a lot of love for Aquaman, and he can't understand why people dislike Aquaman. And I kind of get that. Aquaman gets a lot of hate, but I think I figured out why everyone hates Aquaman.
Why is that?
Because he's a mixture of that, basically that blonde 80s high school jock mixed completely with an overzealous vegan. Now hear me out. All right.
Wow.
Aquaman, he has that Aryan thing going, and that just makes people uncomfortable to begin with. If you look at all the Atlanteans that kind of like follow suit, they live in this island that's secluded from everyone else. It makes people feel like high school. When he's like, oh well, we're all better than you, and you guys don't protect the fish, and and all this stuff. He's preaching. People don't like that. It goes beyond the whole thing that his power is talking to fish, which he kind of redeemed himself when he summoned zombie sharks during
That was pretty cool.
Night. That was probably my favorite comic from that whole series. It's like, okay, you can't make fun of Aquaman so much anymore, because originally he could just talk to fish and then all the strength added on. But just in terms of weirdness, like people make I think the main reason is he has Aqualad, and Aqualad can control water, and that's kind of a cooler power. Speaking of which, add water powers.
That was subtle. Nice.
Just saying.
Nice. Just saying.
Aquaman used to also have the ability to be kidnapped. I think was one of his major powers.
Wow. Look at that.
Then he had to be rescued.
It's not as bad as Wonder Woman's power of I lose my powers if I get tied up by men way back in.
Oh god.
That's like, if you go back and read those old Wonder Woman comics, my god, like half of them are her just getting tied up by some guy and then giving into his plot. It's like, really? She wasn't even in the Justice League originally, like, she was their secretary and whatnot, and it's really bad. It's like when you go back and read some of the Batman comics, and he's like throwing Asian men outside of windows and stuff, and like the whole but it's Aquaman just kind of, he's always garnered up that hate because I think he just reminds people of that Aryan jock reminds. He's like, we've been trained since the 80s to like hate that guy.
Well, I think if Aquaman, or I mean, if one of our developers were here to refute your points, he would have something to say.
I'm not saying there's a bad thing. I don't think he's a bad character. I'm just relaying that's where I think some of the hate comes from. And speaking of power,
is Aquaman a Nazi?
I don't think so. I think that's not actually the truth.
But I think, well, speaking of powers, I want, like everybody's been begging me to ask. All right, there's been a couple powers that were in beta that kind of got fused into other powers and whatnot, and people were kind of wondering, like, quantum has been a huge success. Everybody loves this power. Quantum tunneling is the most useful power in the game, and it doesn't actually hit for any damage.
It's pretty awesome.
The way it kind of runs like mental in the way it is, but just kind of the variations of how things run. It's a fun power. Like, I remember when Quantum first came out, a bunch of people actually switched over powers, and we played Quantum tag in my base for like 20 minutes, just running back and forth, trying to see what we could do with it and testing the limits of what we could actually push with it. So I think a lot of people are curious. Atomic is still kind of out there, and people still want Atomic because it was in the earlier versions of the game. And we noticed that a couple of the enemies in the game, that didn't have atomic powers before, kind of got that atomic black and green glow on them.
Roger
so
that.
Can you guys elaborate that on a little bit? Is it other than that, I know people are shouting for necromancy.
You won't interfere with my mission.
No.
Because people want zombies.
He said, no. Sorry.
Cannot elaborate.
Necromancy. Did you have zombies in the game?
Well, I think that would be a very interesting idea, but no plans or nothing confirmed.
So, oh, I'm sorry.
Looks like we're taking on Space Commander Luther here in the first boss fight in the Nexus. What's your strategy here?
This fight is the white auras. They'll generally what's going to be your biggest problem. Just because the PS3 isn't as powerful as the PC, and sometimes it takes a second for you to realize that you need to be freaking out.
I don't
freak out.
I don't mean to interrupt here, but do we want to pop on over to the villain side? I mean, I know they're running FOS too, but
go ahead.
Mind if we go ahead and do that? Just so
well, let's maybe finish this boss fight.
Okay.
And then we'll hop over to see what's going on in FOS too.
Let me double check. I mean, Sam, has the villain FOS2 started?
Yeah, we're at a boss,
Okay.
but we had some people disconnect. I think it's the heroes messing with us.
Ah,
So we're kind of waiting for them.
that happens.
Hey, I don't want to hear anything, Sam. As soon as they let villains actually be able to go into your base, my freaking toilet was clogged up, my fridge was empty, and my cat is pregnant. I would really like an explanation for that.
Wow.
Hey, Sam, do you want to talk about how you found the Reapers and what your take on it has been? I mean, it's obviously
When she was coming from Russia to Canada to New York.
Yes,
She's
Russian Canadian. It's very interesting.
We're always surprised that she's not drinking vodka and ice skating while she's playing. But
I am. I just keep my composure,
That's impressive.
Maple syrup vodka.
Yeah. Well, I actually joined the Reapers through the Borderlands games. Like, went on the Borderlands forums, found a really cool thread, and I was like, oh, these guys seem cool, like, I'd try it out. Yeah, and there were like some people who were talking very highly about DC, and like the Secret Ginger was all like, oh my god, Sam, come over, we have tanks. Now, I never played MMOs, so I thought a tank would be like a really big machine
An
that
actual
could explode
tank,
stuff.
right?
Yeah, But can you imagine my disappointment that after like a million hours of download, I didn't get one?
That's really sad. Sorry about that.
And
Yeah.
the ginger she's referring to is Outlaw Curtis.
Is Curtis our leader?
Yeah.
Our
Oh.
resident ginger.
Yeah, she has no respect for leadership.
We have we have this idea that Kurt actually married a black woman and had multiracial kids just so he wouldn't have ginger children.
So yeah, and I'm really liking this game. It's kind of tricky at times.
You know, it's kind of funny too. When Borderlands 2 came out, there were a lot of Reapers that I had met through DC Universe, and I knew them by their DC Universe tune name. And I would end up, you know, I actually made a post on our forum saying, you know, well, what am I supposed to call you? Because for, you know, 6 months, you know, I've been playing with you as, you know, well, Artemis is a bad example because his PSN ID is the same, but
that's because I'm consistent, sir.
Well,
consistent.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sam, for example, I mean, she had a different tune name than what she had in Borderlands or as her PSN ID. So it was like, you know, you'd say like, "Hey, Sam," and it was like, it was very, very awkward at first because, you know, you didn't call him by that name, right? Like that. But Sam, you're probably gonna get hit on.
I highly doubt it.
Here's the thing: we have a lot of women who join our league to kind of run from other leagues, because when you're a girl gamer online, you always have to deal with like kind of, you know, people bugging you and dragging you nuts, and you know, the general trolling. So we end up collecting a lot of female members just because they don't, you know, we don't take any of that, you know, disrespectful stuff to. Which is ironic considering they're the most foul-mouthed, dirty-minded group of the bunch, to be perfectly honest. Sam will be the first one, but
What? No way. By the way, can I give a shout out to my girls?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Vixen, Hell Mama,
Vixen's
Firefox,
in the raid with
Criticus,
us right now.
Keisha, Holy Cow, Tashila, Gracie, sure enough, you chicks are amazing. I love you.
All right.
Really?
That's
Really,
awesome.
Sam? At least I know what you were practicing last night. You were like, oh, I don't need to run lines now, I know.
And we just had 35 more applications.
Really?
It's actually funny too. We have a couple Reapers that are actually boyfriend-girlfriend, and they're playing together.
Yeah. My
without exposing their
not
name.
As much as me, but she not as exclusively, but she does play as. And we have Holy Chit and Holy Cow.
Yeah. Just expose their
and-
names.
Yeah, no, they're amazing. They're probably some of the best players this game has to offer. They've always been like when I first started playing with this league, they were the backbone, and they recently came back after a hiatus. They were taking care of some personal things, and they came back to actually start playing again. I was super happy, just because I could actually get a chance to actually dual chit and win. And after not having that after 6 months, it was just it's too much to bear. Yeah. Okay. Right now we're
Having some trouble.
Just drones.
Oh my god, are the heroes wiping? Because we villains love it when they wipe.
Oh.
Thanks. Have
I'm
fun.
going to blast you into orbit.
Oh, there it went. We
All
ran out of
right.
time.
Failure. That's sad.
It happens.
Dum,
And that's
dum.
another thing. A lot of people who are playing this raid, if you just stay in here, eventually you'll get it. I know a lot of people when they run content, especially like raids that they're having trouble with, they'll after a couple of runs, they'll kind of just like screw it, I'm leaving.
Right.
But that's how you get better, especially with this raid. Like I would have never have beaten it when I did, and a couple people wouldn't have beaten it if they just oh well. If you got to spend 4 hours in here to get it done, you have to get it done. And if you have to leave, then you generally can switch somebody out and try again.
We
Yeah,
wanted
that's
these to
something
be
else.
challenging. We didn't want it to just be a
sorry.
walk in the park.
Yeah, that's
And there's a
kinda
lot of
fun.
learning that you have to do
Yeah.
along the way. It's not all about just having the numbers. So
You know,
we're gonna
Which
hop
is why
over
no one
to.
goes into Nexus, which is why no one goes into Nexus. I mean,
Well,
no,
the villains
Paradox,
totally
Paradox.
love the new content, FYI, especially Cagity. So, just throwing it out there. Yeah.
So we're gonna hop over to the villain raid and
Because
see
they
how
like
they're
to beat
doing.
up on Batman, and I have a problem with that. It hurts me inside a little bit. Also,
So-
I'd like to point out that a lot of people don't notice that when you go into these side rooms, they have the the enemies actually, there's a little animation where they actually show you what's going to happen before you actually fight. So you see that Nexus drone come out and stun that other drone and they can't do anything. So it's a nice little hint.
Yeah,
And
it gives you kind of a preview.
I didn't like that, and I hope that's in content following. That a little of this is what's going to happen to your face before you actually get your face smashed in.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Let's just shoot items going.
All right. Well, so now we're in FOS 2. This is the second
Bridge.
of the FOS raids, and what's your strategy here? Just help Superman or what?
Looks like they're not
Kill
taking the
stuff.
strategy.
Kill stuff?
Yeah. Do you have? I mean,
They're
originally.
villains. They don't think, they just murder things. Really.
Yeah,
Because they're villains, right?
Exactly.
I mean, originally when I first joined the Reapers, we were running. We would run FOS 1, 2, and 3 back to back to back, and a lot of times,
You set raids. I want to
we would-
bring those back, by the way.
yeah. I mean, a lot of times we wouldn't even get past the bridge in FOS 2, and it was just, it was very stressful, and we finally had to break up the schedule to where we ran FOS 1 and 3, and did 2 on another day because we weren't getting through the bridge. And I mean, a lot of times we would be pulling the guys off of the bridge, which I don't know if that was actually an intended idea by you guys, or if it was supposed to be just burn them down. But that was the strategy that seemed to work the most, was pulling them off the bridge. And then doesn't look like they're taking that strategy here at all.
No, they're just murdering everything.
Well,
Which
I think now people
the
have gotten
villains are
enough.
mindless. Mindless.
I think enough
automatons.
people have gotten tier 5 gear that they're just saying, screw it.
You
Let's
can
just,
handle it now. Yeah.
let's just destroy whatever comes. Because I find that more fun now, because you need that strategy when you've got lower gear. But when you have tier 5, you can just kind of sit at the crystal and murder whatever comes your way.
Yeah, and running the lower tier raids with all the high gear too, and taking a few newer Reapers through who are actually looking for gear, it's more of a a fun time where you can just kind of kick back. I mean, there was times where we were running CR 89 people through outer, and a lot of times it was more joking around and forming relationships with these people, because the bottom line is that we're trying to do exactly that, not no stress or anything like that, and hang out and have a good time.
Well,
and
a lot
that's
of it is, you realize you get skill points and you get things by actually helping other people. When people ask, how did I get 150 skill points? It's always comes down to I help people. Content I don't need to run in order to get gear or get stronger or whatnot. I'll still run because I can. It adds up eventually to actually helping other people. Oh, and I'm down again.
So, what does it look like? The villains are kind of struggling. Oh, he's going up the hill over here. I'm a
They're
little bit
getting
behind.
No, we're doing just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sam would be freaking out on the mic if things were actually going bad.
Be screaming a bit.
You'll hear like about 50 oh gods in about 2 minutes. Oh god, 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 oh god.
But that's also what happens when she's excited, too.
Oh god.
No, that was not. See, this is the
It's
kind
too
of
late.
banter. This is the
It's
kind of banter that we have in
too
League
late.
Chat. It's like, no, like,
Too
hey.
late.
Dirty.
But yeah, that's another thing. A lot of people, they'll jump on, and one thing that we stress a lot is you don't actually, we have a lot of people that'll just jump on mic and just hang out for like an hour or two, and just kind of. That's why like kind of the more social aspects of the game kind of appeal to us, because we have people that play, but they'll jump on to really like talk and just have fun and witness the horror that is Reapers After Dark, which I shouldn't even be telling you guys about, because we're all over 21 and we get sleep deprived, and some of us are drinking, so when it hits about 10 o'clock in our league, the conversation gets a little bit more dicey than it probably should be sometimes.
I see.
Which is why we're only over 21.
Yeah, and you were talking about late night and staying up late and playing for long times. We actually did a oh gosh, what was it? Oh, before you guys moved, the operations final bosses inside, we decided to do a 24-hour marathon of the operations. To just
Wow.
try to get as much gear, and I mean, it went off pretty well. I mean, there were still, a
There was
few
only
times
like
where,
one that didn't happen, I
yeah,
believe. It
but
didn't happen.
we had people just signing up, and anybody who was on just, in, out, in, out, and it was pretty impressive. But I mean, it started at midnight and it went until midnight, and there were some people that ran it from like midnight until
Yeah,
7 a.m.
like the majority of them.
That's some
Yeah.
dedication right
Yeah.
there.
So
But I
I mean, we
was
do.
only ran like 6 that day, I believe.
Yeah, and I mean, we do fun things like that too. We try to challenge these people. I mean, I know at some point we were trying to do almost just like a hide and seek thing throughout, one of the cities. Like we'd give people clues about what we saw around us, and you had to come and find us or something like that. We have contests on the site itself where we'll sit there and we'll say, okay, whoever writes the most compelling argument about the most influential game in their life, whoever writes that will get like
Father,
a $20 or $50
What are you
PSN
doing in
card
that
or something like
sunstone
that.
construct?
Right.
Has Brainiac
Because we're more into the person rather than what they're capable of. Because as we said, we can always teach. We'd rather have somebody that we like and make them stronger than somebody that we can't stand and have to deal with.
Sure. Well, it looks like we're coming up on our time. Is there
Yep.
anything else you guys wanted to make sure you said or did before
Well,
we call it a night?
No, that
Just
was pretty much it.
I mean, just make sure that if any of you are interested, you're over 21, you're respectful, you want to hang out with some sweet people, and you can put up with Sam. All you got to do is just go to www.holdsquare, holdsquare.com. Hey, Meps, if you want to put the camera back on me, I'm in Artevis's base at the moment, and there's something going down.
Are they fighting in my base again?
They're not
Sounds
fighting.
fishy.
Today.
See, all right. Here's the thing about having 200 items in your base. All your friends like to do is just run into your base and destroy everything. That's just all they do. It's
All
like,
right,
hey,
we're,
what's up?
we're hopping
Smash.
I gotta see how far they did this.
over. We're here.
Are you?
Yep.
So
You're
yeah,
just
they kind of
Trashing the entire base.
And
Yeah,
I
there's
like
no-
that they're doing this when I'm not around. See, that's
That's friendly of them.
nice.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will
Yeah.
close out Friday Night Legends. Thank you once again to PS3 Reapers for coming and talking to us today and sharing about your league and showing us what a everyday raid night is like for you guys on Hero Villains. For everyone out there, tune in next week. Same time, same place. Twitch TV/DC Nerds Online, 4 p.m. Fridays for Friday Night Legends.
Yep. Thanks for
Um,
being here. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Sony.